Imagine a life where you no longer chase people, approval, or validation. A life where your peace is not disturbed by noise, nor your purpose dictated by the opinions of others. Imagine waking up, not to the sound of chaos, but to the calm voice within you. A voice you once ignored because the world was too loud. Now picture this: you're alone, but not lonely. You've let go of what no longer serves you. And in that silence, something awakens: clarity, strength, truth. Buddhism teaches us that true transformation begins not in the presence of others, but in solitude, where your soul finally has space to breathe. This is your path to healing. This is how you rebuild yourself alone. And it starts right now with 12 Buddhist principles that will reshape your mind, renew your spirit, and return you to who you truly are. 1. Detach from the illusion of control. Most of our suffering comes from trying to control things we were never meant to. We want people to behave a certain way. We want life to go according to our plan. We expect situations to unfold exactly how we imagined. And when they don't, we feel frustrated, anxious, or defeated. But here's the truth: you cannot control what other people say, think, or do. You cannot control the outcomes, the timing, or the twists of fate. Life is unpredictable. People are imperfect. Circumstances will change, often without warning. Buddhism teaches us that pain is not caused by what happens to us, but by our attachment to how we believe it should happen. As Buddha wisely said, you only lose what you cling to. The tighter you hold on to expectations, the more you suffer when they're not met. But when you release that grip, something beautiful happens. You begin to experience life as it is, not as you demand it to be. Let go of trying to force outcomes. Let go of trying to fix everyone. Let go of needing everything to be perfect. When you stop resisting reality, you stop suffering. And in that surrender, you don't become weaker, you become wiser. Because now, instead of wasting your energy on what you can't control, you begin to master the one thing you always can: your response. That's where your power is. Not in controlling life, but in how gracefully you meet it. 2. Sit with yourself, not your distractions. In today's world, it's easier than ever to run from yourself. Every time you feel discomfort, boredom, or sadness, there's a screen to scroll, a song to play, a video to watch, or a conversation to escape into. These things may seem harmless, but over time they create a dangerous habit. You start avoiding your own presence. You begin to fear silence. You begin to resist stillness. And slowly, without realizing it, you become a stranger to your own mind. Buddhism teaches that true healing and transformation only begin when you stop distracting yourself and start facing yourself. Why is sitting with yourself so important? Because underneath the noise is truth, underneath the discomfort is clarity, and the emotions you've buried, those quiet whispers of sadness, guilt, or longing, are not trying to destroy you. They're trying to guide you. When you learn to sit alone, without reaching for your phone, without calling someone, without numbing your thoughts with noise, you begin to hear what your soul has been trying to say all along. You realize you're not empty. You're just unattended. You're not broken. You're just unheard. So sit, not as a punishment, but as a return to yourself. Let the silence feel awkward at first. Let the emotions rise. Observe them like passing clouds. Don't judge, just listen. Because the moment you become fully present with yourself, without needing anything else to escape into, you begin to remember who you really are. And that, in itself, is the beginning of transformation. 3. Embrace the pain that rebuilds you. Most people run from pain. It's natural. We think pain is something bad, something to avoid, something to fix as quickly as possible. But in Buddhism, pain is not the enemy. It's a messenger. It's a mirror. It's the crack through which light enters the soul. The truth is, growth never feels like comfort. It feels like loss, like confusion, like everything falling apart. But just like a seed must break open before it can grow into a tree, you must allow parts of yourself to break so you can rise into someone greater. Pain is not here to punish you. It's here to reshape you. When you sit with your suffering instead of numbing it or escaping it, you begin to understand its wisdom. That heartbreak, it showed you what you truly value. That failure, it taught you resilience you never knew you had. That silence, it brought you face to face with the parts of yourself that need healing. You can't rebuild yourself if you're always hiding from what hurts. And here's the shift. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" This change in mindset turns pain into power. The most peaceful people you'll ever meet are not the ones who never suffered. They're the ones who look their pain in the eye, accepted it with grace, and let it transform them. So don't rush to escape what hurts. Let it burn away the old version of you, the one that was too afraid, too dependent, too lost. And from those ashes, a stronger, clearer, and wiser you will rise. This is the beauty of pain when met with presence. It doesn't just break you, it rebuilds you. 4. Simplify your life, amplify your spirit. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more, do more, and become more, simplicity often feels like a weakness. But in Buddhism, simplicity is not a step backward, it's a return to clarity, a return to peace. Think about it. How many things do you carry, physically, mentally, emotionally, that you don't truly need? How much energy is drained managing things that add no value to your spirit? The clutter in your home, the overcommitment in your schedule, the noise in your digital life, and the toxic people in your circle, they all weigh you down, quietly and constantly. Buddha taught that desire is the root of suffering, not just material desire, but the craving for more recognition, more possessions, more distractions. But the path to transformation isn't found in adding, it's found in subtracting. Start by asking, what is truly essential to my peace? Simplify your surroundings. Let go of what you don't use. Simplify your relationships. Choose depth over quantity. Simplify your mind. Release thoughts that don't serve your highest self. When you begin to live with less, you actually feel more space to breathe, more time to reflect, more energy to grow. Simplicity doesn't mean you give up joy. It means you stop chasing what doesn't bring real joy in the first place. It creates a sacred space inside you where your spirit can rise, uninterrupted by noise or pressure. So, slow down. Clear the excess. Let your life become quiet enough that you can hear your soul again. Because the more you simplify, the more you amplify who you truly are. 5. Become the observer, not the reactor. One of the greatest teachings in Buddhism is this: you are not your thoughts and you are not your emotions. You are the one who watches them. But most people forget this. Sometimes something triggers them, a rude comment, a moment of fear, a painful memory, and they react without thinking. Anger takes over. Anxiety floods the mind. Sadness pulls them down. And before they know it, they're doing or saying things that only create more suffering. Buddhism teaches a different path, a path of awareness, a path of stillness. Instead of being pulled by your emotions, learn to observe them. Like clouds drifting across the sky, emotions come and go. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to become them. You simply watch. You breathe. You stay still. This is not easy at first. The mind wants to react. The ego wants to fight. The pain wants to scream. But when you pause, you give yourself power. You shift from automatic reaction to conscious response. And in that space between the trigger and your action, you find freedom. Here's the truth. Anger is not the enemy. Fear is not the enemy. Even sadness is not the enemy. The real danger is losing yourself inside of them. So practice becoming the watcher of your mind. When anger rises, say, anger is here. When fear appears, say, I see you, fear, and then breathe. Don't push it away. Don't fight it. Just let it pass, like a wave rolling over you. Not through you. This is emotional mastery. This is how you stop being a victim of your mind and start becoming the master of it. Because the strongest person is not the one who reacts the fastest. It's the one who stays still long enough to choose peace over chaos. Be the observer, and your whole life will begin to change. 6. Let go of the self that no longer serves you. We all carry a version of ourselves that was shaped by pain, fear, rejection, or past experiences. Maybe it's the not good enough version, the always fails version, the one that was criticized, betrayed, abandoned, or told they were too much, or not enough. And over time, without realizing it, you begin to identify with that self. You start believing that's who you are. You say things like, I'm just an anxious person. I always mess things up. This is just the way I am. But Buddhism teaches something powerful. There is no fixed self. The self you believe you are is not permanent. It can change. It can evolve. It can be rebuilt. Yet in order to become someone new, you have to be willing to let go of the version of you that no longer serves your highest good. Let go of the self that doubts. Let go of the self that shrinks to fit in. Let go of the self that keeps reliving the same story of pain. You don't need to hate that version of you. It was doing its best with what it knew. It helped you survive. But now, you're ready to grow. And growth means releasing the identity that was built on wounds, so you can step into one built on wisdom. This transformation doesn't happen all at once. It happens when you choose, moment by moment, to act like the person you want to become, not the one you've been. You start speaking kindly to yourself. You stop repeating stories that hurt. You walk with your head higher, not out of pride, but because you've remembered your worth. Letting go of the old self isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were before the world told you who to be. So breathe deeply. Forgive the past version of you. And with every step forward, remind yourself, you are allowed to grow beyond who you once were. 7. Learn the power of walking alone. There will be moments in life when you feel abandoned, misunderstood, or completely alone. Friends fade, relationships fall apart, support disappears, and you're left wondering, why is no one here? But what if that loneliness is actually sacred? In Buddhism, solitude is not something to fear, it's something to honor. Because when you walk alone, without the noise, without the influence, without the pressure to be someone for others, you begin to meet the most important person in your life, yourself. We live in a world that constantly tells us to stay connected, but connection without self-awareness leads to confusion. You begin to live for others, say yes when you mean no, and shape yourself to fit their expectations. In solitude, that illusion falls away. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. You start questioning what you actually want, not what others expect. You remember your values, your dreams, your pain, your power. Buddha walked away from his palace, his comfort, his identity, alone. And in that sacred solitude beneath the Bodhi tree, he awakened. Solitude is where you strip away the masks. It's where the real work begins. No one clapping for you, no one guiding your steps, just you. showing up for your own soul. But understand this: walking alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means becoming strong enough to stand without needing anyone else to hold you up. When you can walk your path without applause, when you can be at peace without constant company, when you can enjoy your own presence like a best friend, that's when you know you are becoming whole. So if you feel like no one understands you right now, if you're walking a path that feels unfamiliar and quiet, know this isn't your punishment, it's your preparation. Because those who learn to walk alone eventually lead themselves to the most powerful place of all, inner peace. 8. Choose mindfulness over multitasking. In the modern world, multitasking is praised like a superpower. The more you can juggle, the more valuable you seem. But here's what no one tells you. The more tasks you split your attention across, the less of yourself you bring to each one. You eat while scrolling your phone. You listen while thinking about your reply. You walk while your mind races in 1,000 directions. But are you really living, or just moving through life on autopilot? Buddhism teaches the opposite of multitasking. It teaches mindfulness, the practice of being fully present with whatever you are doing, no matter how simple it seems. When you eat, just eat. When you listen, just listen. When you walk, feel each step beneath your feet like it matters. Why is this important? Because when your mind is scattered, your life becomes scattered. When your attention is divided, your energy is drained. And when you rush through every moment, you miss the beauty, the wisdom, and the healing it quietly offers you. Mindfulness brings you back to now, the only moment that actually exists. It calms the nervous system. It clears mental fog. It deepens your connection to the world and to yourself. And most importantly, it awakens your presence. You begin to notice the flavor of your food, the sound of the wind, the rhythm of your breath. You begin to realize that life isn't happening later. It's happening right here. And the more present you are, the richer your life becomes. Even washing dishes can become a meditation. Even sipping tea can become a sacred act if you give it your full attention. So stop chasing more. Stop rushing through everything just to get to the next thing. Slow down. Come back to this moment. Because when you stop multitasking and start living mindfully, you don't just get things done, you come back to life itself. 9. Accept what is and change what you can. One of the deepest sources of suffering in life is the fight against reality. We wish things were different. We replay mistakes, regret decisions, hold on to anger and obsess over things that are simply out of our control. But here's the truth. You cannot heal by resisting what is. Buddhism teaches a profound balance, acceptance, and action. Accept what is, change what can be, and have the wisdom to know the difference. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It does not mean becoming passive. It means making peace with the present moment before you decide what to do next. Because when you're at war with what's already happened, you drain your energy. But when you accept it, you free up space to respond wisely. You don't have to accept injustice. You don't have to tolerate toxic behavior. But you do have to stop wishing the past could be different. You do have to stop trying to control every outcome. Instead, ask yourself, can I change this? If yes, take action with clarity and compassion. If no, breathe, let go, and trust the unfolding of life. Acceptance doesn't mean you agree with everything. It means you stop fighting reality so that you can meet it with strength instead of resistance. And action, true conscious action, comes from a still place, not a frantic one. When you accept what is, you can finally see clearly what steps to take. Here's what happens when you live this way. You stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop getting stuck in endless loops of worry or regret. You begin to move forward, not with fear, but with peace. Because peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of inner clarity in the middle of them. So repeat this to yourself when life feels heavy. I will accept what is and change what I can. And in that simple, powerful mindset, you will begin to transform everything. 10. Choose compassion even for yourself. 10. Choose compassion even for yourself. It's easy to feel compassion for others. When someone else is in pain, we offer kindness, patience, and gentle words. But when we fall short, we become our own harshest critics. We replay our mistakes. We insult ourselves in silence. We carry guilt for days, weeks, even years. We hold ourselves to impossible standards and punish ourselves when we fail to meet them. But here's the truth. You cannot truly grow if you're constantly attacking yourself. Buddhism teaches that compassion must begin at home, and that home is your own heart. Self-compassion doesn't mean making excuses. It means recognizing that you are human, that you are allowed to struggle, that healing is not a straight line, and mistakes are part of the journey. When you mess up, speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. It's okay. You're learning, you're trying, you are still worthy. Because the voice you speak to yourself with becomes the environment your soul lives in. If that voice is harsh, your spirit hides. If that voice is kind, your spirit blooms. Think of a child learning to walk. If that child falls, you don't scold them. You cheer them on. You encourage them to get back up. You need to offer yourself that same grace. Even in your darkest moments, you are not broken. You are becoming. Even in your messiness, you are not a failure. You are a work in progress. Self-compassion is not weakness. It's one of the greatest strengths you can develop. Because when you stop fighting yourself, you create space to truly grow. So, pause, place a hand over your heart, take a breath, and remind yourself, I am doing my best. I am learning. I deserve love, even from me. In that moment, transformation begins, not from force but from gentle understanding, because the path to healing is not paved with self-judgment. It's built with compassion, step by step, breath by breath. 11th, break the cycle by breaking the thought. Every day, thousands of thoughts pass through your mind. Some are harmless, some are helpful, but many, without you even realizing, are harmful. Thoughts like, I'm not enough, no one understands me, I always fail, what's the point in trying? And the more often these thoughts appear, the more power they gain. You don't just think them, you start to believe them. And once belief takes root, it begins to shape your choices, your actions, your energy, and ultimately, your life. Buddhism teaches that our reality is created by our thoughts. The Buddha once said, we are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. This means that the life you are living right now is a reflection of the thoughts you have consistently believed. If your thoughts are fearful, you move through life cautiously, always expecting the worst. If your thoughts are filled with anger, you carry that weight into every conversation. If your thoughts are rooted in lack, you never feel like what you have or who you are is enough. But here's the good news. Thoughts are not permanent. They are habits, patterns. They are like grooves in the mind, carved by repetition. And what has been programmed can be reprogrammed. The key is awareness. You must begin to watch your thoughts, not blindly follow them. When a painful or limiting thought arises, pause. Don't react. Don't obey it. Instead, ask yourself, is this thought true? Is this thought helpful? Is this thought leading me where I want to go? Most of the time, you'll realize it's just an old loop, an outdated story your mind keeps telling because it's familiar, not because it's real. For example, when the thought appears, I always mess things up. You can catch it and say, "That's a pattern, not a truth. I've made mistakes, but I've also learned. I've grown. I'm not the same person I was before." This is how you begin to break the cycle, by breaking the thought before it becomes a belief. But awareness alone is not enough. You must also replace the thought with something more aligned, more empowering. Instead of, "I'm not good enough," try, "I am growing and growth is messy." Instead of, "I'll never change," say, "I've already changed in ways I never thought I could." Instead of, "I'm too late." Tell yourself, "Right now is exactly where I'm meant to begin." This isn't toxic positivity, it's conscious mental training. It's about choosing thoughts that support your healing rather than sabotage it. Just like your body needs clean food to grow, your mind needs clean thoughts to thrive. You also have to be patient. These thought loops weren't created in a day. They were built over years through repetition, trauma, pressure, and pain. So be gentle as you begin to rewire your mind. Every time you interrupt a limiting thought, even once, you weaken its grip. Every time you choose a new thought, you strengthen a new pathway in the brain. This is neuroplasticity, the mind's ability to change itself. And Buddhism understood this long before modern science did. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools in this process. When you sit in stillness, you start to notice the noise in your head. You start to see the same thoughts rising again and again. And in that stillness, you gain space. The space to choose, to let go, to reframe, to breathe instead of react. Over time, this deliberate choosing becomes natural. You no longer believe every thought that shows up. You become the watcher, not the prisoner. You start to think on purpose, not by habit. This is when change begins. When your thoughts shift, your beliefs shift. When your beliefs shift, your energy shifts. When your energy shifts, your actions shift. And when your actions shift, your whole life starts to transform. So, if you feel stuck in a loop of fear, anger, or sadness, look at your thoughts. What stories do you tell yourself? What assumptions are you holding on to? What labels have you outgrown? And most of all, what new thought will you pick today? Healing does not start with a new job, a new person, or a new place. It starts with a new thought. So break the cycle, notice the thought, question it, replace it. With time, your mind will not be a battlefield. It will become your strongest ally. In every moment of chaos, confusion, fear, or doubt, one thing is always with you, always available, and strong enough to bring you back to peace. Your breath. It sounds simple, maybe too simple. But in Buddhism, the breath is more than air moving in and out of your lungs. It is your anchor to the present, the doorway to awareness, and the bridge between body, mind, and spirit. When life feels too much, the mind runs in every direction. It pulls you into the past, replaying what went wrong. It leaps into the future, imagining worst cases. It creates fear, tension, and panic. Before you know it, you are no longer present. You are caught in thoughts that do not help. But your breath is always here, in the present. It does not exist in the past or the future. It lives only now, in this moment. When you focus on your breath, you guide yourself back to peace, to presence, to life. Buddhist monks have practiced breath awareness for thousands of years to grow mindfulness and inner calm. Why? Because wherever you are and whatever you face, your breath is with you. You do not need tools, money, or anyone's permission. You only need the willingness to pause and return. When you pay attention to your breath, something shifts. Your nervous system begins to settle. Your thoughts start to slow. Your heartbeat softens. You stop getting caught in life's storms and become the calm within them. Try this now. Take a slow, deep breath in. Hold it for a moment. Now breathe out gently. Do it again, but this time pay attention. Notice the air entering your nose. Feel your chest rise. Feel the breath leaving your body, like a wave flowing back to the sea. This simple awareness may seem small, but it holds real power, because here is what you start to see. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the one who breathes beneath them all. When anger shows up, return to the breath. When sadness comes, return to the breath. When anxiety tightens your chest, return to the breath. It may not change the situation, but it gives you clarity, space, and calm to handle it better. The breath is also closely tied to the body's energy. In Buddhism, people say the breath carries prana, your life force. When your breathing is shallow and uneven, your energy feels scattered and weak. When your breath is deep and mindful, your energy feels steady, strong, and grounded. Yet many of us live without knowing this power. We often breathe without thinking, fast and shallow, especially under stress. But when you breathe with awareness and intention, you are not just calming down. You are also retraining your whole mind and body. That is why breathwork and meditation are not only spiritual practices. They are strong tools for emotional healing, stress relief, and better physical health. Science supports this too. Research shows that mindful breathing lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It also improves heart rate variability, which builds emotional strength, boosts the immune system, and sharpens mental clarity. Beyond what science says, there is a deeper truth. Your breath connects you to life itself. The first thing you did at birth was inhale. The last thing you will do in this world is exhale. Every breath in between is a chance to start again. So when life feels heavy, when the mind is overwhelmed and the soul feels lost, do not search outside for comfort. Just pause, close your eyes, place your hand gently on your heart, and breathe. Let your breath become your prayer. Let it carry your pain away. Let it remind you that you are here, you are alive, and this moment is enough. Make it a daily habit. Breathe in the morning before the world reaches you. Breathe in the evening after the day's noise fades. Breathe between tasks, before you react, before you speak. Just breathe. Even one conscious breath can change your whole state. When you learn to guide your breath, you start to guide your mind. And when you master your mind, you become free.